Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about the Apple Vision Pro and the future of visual analytics. My name is Victor Guzman, and I'm excited to just kind of talk to you about this product and why I think it would be beneficial for our organization. So, we have a pretty packed agenda today. We're going to just briefly touch over the introduction overview of an Apple Vision Pro. What is it? The enhancing data visualization tools that it has, the role that it plays in visual analytics, future enhancements, industry impacting use cases, the vision for the future with AI, and then just any kind of closing remarks or questions. But feel free to stop me along the way. It doesn't have to be we're going to wait till the end to hold questions. Feel free to bring them along the way. It helps me out too and keep the interaction going. So this is what you see, right? So you put on the glasses and you're wondering, okay, what does it look like? Well, this gives you like a quick overview of a glance of like what you might see. And the reason why I chose this slide was because it gives you a visualization of like what you see as a person who works in the analytical field, and you're kind of looking at, okay, what's my insights with like, supply chain on the right, or what's my AI insights for predictive analytics? Like, so it just kind of gives you a deep or look into it. I know you hear about how it mixes with virtual reality and AR, like the augmented reality, but like this kind of gives you a glance of like what you kind of will see with it. I wish I would have brought a demo with me for you guys to test. That would have been really, really cool, but maybe next time we'll set that up for like the round two that we do if we go this further down. So why does it enhance data visualization, right? So our eyes are constantly looking at things. Like we're seeing things, we don't realize that we may be looking at a certain object. And what it does for you, the Apple Vision Pro, it computes everything. So it allows it to say, hey, you're staring at this one thing, and I'm looking at you, right? But it may not seem like my eyes looking at you. It may look like my eyes looking kind of like in this general vicinity. But it's the Apple Vision Pro. What it does is it can check that because it uses like infrared cameras and sensors to track your eye movement, identify what your target you're looking at, where, what environment, what you're doing. So it's really intuitive, and it just kind of helps with interactions when you're looking at maps, data points. So it just kind of helps with all that stuff. Spatial computing, the cool thing about this is just like being able to explore a 3D data set. Later on in our slides, you'll see that we have like a doctor kind of looking at a knee surgery and being able to kind of see what he's doing prior to going into the knee surgery. So imagine being able to kind of examine and look around and see like what you might like do without having to actually be present inside someone cut or look in their knee to be able to mess with it, test the models. But like we'll get further into that, and you'll kind of see the cool thing behind that. The overall like just vision for what they have in like the clarity and precision, it's very, very nice. I have myself, I've only watched videos and I've been able to like do it myself, but just like the videos that I've seen, you can see the maps. Imagine looking at Tableau or Power BI and seeing the visual, like seeing a 3D map of what you're looking for, whether it be like your supply chain or where you have product. It's just really, really cool to kind of look and see that. And later on in the road, we'll see a little bit more on that too. But just tracking, being able to know that your eyes are looking at more than what you think, but it kind of helps track that, and you can see it a lot better. So, what role does it play in visual analytics, right? So it's like the immersive 3D data exploration, like I was talking about earlier. It can kind of see a snapshot of the map view over there, but just imagining being able to kind of zoom in and out instead of having to go in, zoom in with like a mouse or anything else. You're kind of looking at it so you know what you're looking for, and your eye is kind of glancing at, okay, this caught my eye. Like, usually whenever we're looking at a visualization, you're going, how do I make this appealing for the user who's using it? So imagine if you have the glasses on and the first thing the thing sees is, oh, this person came straight to this. They're looking at this red dot or this one number that was negative. So you know what's catching their eye, so you know where it's going, and you know how to update and kind of do stuff with it. Um, AI, machine learning, the integration, Siri, thinking about how all those things work out and do, it benefits how you can ask and work with, and we'll kind of talk about the future of what it looks like. But it plays a really important role in being able to say, hey, in this case, Siri, you could ask her and say, will you give me what my forecast might look like if my sales went down, you know, by 50 basis points? And it would kind of interact with you and be able to kind of adjust and do that. And then just like on the spot, being able to ask it and do it, which would be really, really helpful, especially because when you're getting asked questions about the business, it's usually on the spot and in the moment. So imagine being able to kind of collaborate and do that just like real quick, but like with also having the vision pros on. And my favorite part about this is the AR and VR environments. So like imagine having your glasses on and you're at work, you're doing work stuff, but like your background is the mountains, say somewhere in Alaska, or you're in the ocean somewhere relaxing by the beach and you're kind of having that like zen moment while you're trying to, get work done. And sometimes just having a different environment of where you're at is nice, and being able to kind of interact and collaborate with others. Say like you work with teams in China and India and West Africa, like you all kind of like meeting and interacting in one spot with these glasses without having to actually be there. It's like Zoom or a Teams meeting, but just a little bit more fun and playful, and you kind of get to see the data and kind of visualize it and see it a little bit better, in my opinion. So what future enhancements do we want to see, right? We want to increase the processing power, ability to handle more complex data sets in real time. I did notice that some of the stuff, like in the videos that I've watched, it wasn't all the way there. It still needs some more enhancement to me, but it's getting there. We have a foundation down, and we're trying to figure out how we can kind of bring in more. But my like again, my favorite parts about it are the AR and the VR, but like figuring out how to like be able to do more while you're in those modes, and then being able to do more with the applications that you have. Right now, the ecosystem that Apple has in this case, they don't interact with everything. So like you can see charts and adjust some things, but you can't fully do what you could probably do in a computer because it's not fully there interaction wise with like each ecosystem with everyone else. So just kind of working through that piece of it. Being able to do more real-time insights. Right now, you can ask a few things or kind of do that, but we want to see more, right? Like how in the moment can we kind of like say, hey, like I said earlier, like predict what would happen to my sales if I did this, or what would happen to my margin if this happened, and being able to kind of in a moment adjust the forecast and then be able to see, okay, this does this, okay, back to my regular. And then for me, really the biggest point is like, how do you improve affordability? And I mean, if you think about it, not everyone's going to go out there and spend $3,500 is what the base model costs, and then the highest expensive one goes almost to 4 grand. You need a little bit cheaper. Like you needed to be able to be where people can actually afford it, and not just people who can afford it, maybe people who can't afford it but could give good insights onto like what better things you could do for it and how to improve it. The tool itself is really, really fun, but even for myself, trying to pay $3,500 to buy one, it's kind of expensive. So you have to have a good reason to have it, or like a good use case to be able to say, hey, I'm gonna go spend that money on it. Some of the cool things that I thought were very helpful that I thought I would add to here is how are they being used? Like what are people doing with it? So we'll kind of look into the healthcare, finance, and supply chain, and you'll kind of see in like real time what people are using them for. Like I said with healthcare, like patient data review, diagnostics. Finance, you can kind of see real time analytics and seeing what's going on with trading floors. And supply chain, just looking at heat maps. What we're going to see is a cool like logistics warehousing, how you can kind of compute where things would go in a warehouse without having to actually have the product there. And again, there's other tools that can do this, but the way that this does it, while you're kind of like not at the warehouse, but it seems like you are, is really, really nice. So just imagine you go to the doctors and your doctor's like, hey, here's what we're going to do for your reconstructive knee surgery, right? Like, here's what's going to happen. Here's everything. And he can kind of show you your knee separated out piece by piece. Or he has a chart that says, hey, here's where things are reading, here's everything we're looking at. And by the way, you're not there. You're kind of looking at this in like a virtual reality standpoint. And we have a lot more that happened during COVID where we wouldn't have people going to the doctors, but you would still have visits. So like imagine being able to kind of talk to this and feel better about it, going, okay, the doctor was saying a bunch of words or showing me things about my femur or this about my leg and how my flexion is, how my extension is. But then you're like, what did he really say? In this case, this would allow you to, in real time, go, okay, oh, this is what he means by my knee. When I bend it inwards, this is where it's causing pain. This is where you're going to relieve some of that tension. That's going to help me out. So the healthcare is already using it. Same thing from finance standpoint. The finance people are already using this as well, um, to be able to track things. How are you trading? How is your money? The instance of the picture that I used below is a snapshot of an account. This could be your account, your business accounts, but it kind of shows you, okay, what's going in, what goals do you have, how are you using it, reminders, and then just being able to kind of see that on your Vision Pro is really easy and fun and like interactive. And then here's my favorite one, the supply chain, right? So if you haven't seen a warehouse or been inside of one, it's a lot. You're trying to figure out how to optimize as much space as possible, but also make it accessible where when you have, in this case, a robot maybe going and grabbing the product or something else, it's there where you have it nearby, but you also want to make sure that it's as optimal as possible. The more warehouse space you take up, the more you're ending up going to spend. You have to make it as optimal as possible. So this is a really good view on that. The vision of the future with AI, right? I was talking about like how does it get better? Well, we need Siri to evolve a little bit more and be able to kind of be able to predict things and do stuff with us as we're talking through it. But being able to tell data trends and not have to ask it, and then mock AI driven insights visible in a VR workspace. So imagine having like a workspace where you kind of have now where you can go into AI and kind of ask it questions, but more of this case for just the virtual reality headsets that you have and having a space where this is kind of what you're looking at, this is what you do every day. How do I continue to kind of drive and move that forward? So in conclusion, talking through everything, the product is very, very awesome. You get to kind of escape from the real world of like what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, but still be able to, interact and mess with the data, be able to tell stories to your customer, whether that be internal or external. Talk through just a collaboration outside of just our organization. Like we do a lot of teams meetings, and you do a lot of interaction with teams outside of your like actual building. So being able to kind of interact, like I said, in that like, whoa, I'm here in Alaska, but I'm really in the office, but I'm interacting with people other teams, and you can kind of have everyone kind of bring it together and collaborate together. Like that's very, very helpful, and it kind of gets you out of that monotonous everyday, day-to-day stuff that you do, and kind of makes it a little bit more fun. So again, we want to be able to like integrate more of that AI, bring it to a price point where you can actually afford to use it, but just being able to have that in a data world where your eyes are kind of looking at things, you know what you're looking for, you know what you want to ask, but maybe it's not there, or hey, like you're stuck somewhere, but like AI notices, hey, oh, you're trying to do this, like let me go ahead and help you, or hey, this is a data trend that you could call out to the business that might help them, or if you needed to ask Siri something, you could ask and then it would be able to help and you wouldn't have to worry about like thinking twice about it. So these are just like some fun little tools and tips on what you could do. Hopefully, as Apple Vision Pro comes out with more updates, and so does Apple, we'll be able to kind of do more with it. And then as the price point is better for it as well, we can kind of interact overall better, and be able to like have it accessible to more people. But again, thank you all for your time today. I appreciate y'all's questions along the way and just that overall dialogue and talk. If you guys need anything else, like I said, my name is Victor Guzman. I appreciate your time and hope you have a great day.